Welcome everyone to Sisters in Crime, Canada West, Meet the Author. My name is Joanna VanderVlugt, and I am an author and podcaster of JCV Art Studio. Today, I am interviewing Candas Jane Dorsey, and we're celebrating Candace's winning, or I shouldn't say winning, Candace won the Crime Writers Canada Award of Excellence and the Whodunit Award for Best Traditional Mystery, for her novel, What's the Matter with Mary Jane? Candace, welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm still grinning, as you can see. It's great.
Can you?
It's funny, it's not that traditional a novel, except in form. The plot is traditional, I guess you would say, but people not so much.
Yeah. Can you hold up the cover one more time? Because I'd love the cover of that book.
It's lovely.
Yes.
The whole series has beautiful covers.
Good.
This was number 1.
Yeah.
Right, and this was number 2, and they're made so that they can sort of sit on the shelf next to each other, and they line up and look very, very snazzy. So I'm looking forward to number 3. See what they're going to do with number 3. But one of the things I love is the orange hair. We made sure it wasn't a hair color found in nature, because we don't really describe my detective in the book. So it was. I'm really thrilled as the cover designer.
Good. So tell us, Candace, how did it feel knowing that you won? And what were you doing? Was anyone around so you could immediately tell someone that you had won?
Well, my partner was here, and of course I immediately got on the Twitter with my thumbs and told a few people and Facebook. COVID has made our lives in some ways very small, but the internet and this ability to Zoom and so on has also made our lives really big. So it's kind of paradoxical. So, I was here, I was at home. I actually saw a note on the Twitter before I actually got the official notification. So I woke up and I was doing my usual doom scrolling. And, I like to call it the Twitter because that's like the old person name for Twitter, and it's my own private joke. But I do go on there and sort of check things out in the morning, and there it was. Hey.
Gosh, what a way to wake up in the morning and
No kidding. No kidding. The morning is not my favorite time, so anything good that happens in the morning is really good.
Good. So can you let us know what's the matter with Mary Jane is about? Like, give us a teaser of what it's about.
Okay. Well, it's number 2 in the series, but it sort of stands alone. And the detective, although she has a name, is never named in the book, and she has become a little bit notorious for solving the first mystery. So a friend of hers from college comes to see her, who's actually become quite a well-known travel writer, and is being stalked by a fan, she thinks, and she wants Nameless to help her out with finding out if that's true or not. And of course, nothing is ever as it seems, and in noir, a simple request turns out always to be about far more. And so she gets involved with what I described in the cover copy as a dreamy but sinister tech billionaire and his equally unnerving sidekick, and their jealousies and their passions. And she becomes emotionally involved as well, which ups the ante for her considerably, and things do not end badly for do not end well. They end badly for everyone, because that's what happens in noir. The only one who really gets out of it unscathed is the cat. This time nothing happens to the cat.
Wow, okay. So, leading from that, was there, when you were writing this novel, was there any characters that shocked you, or just characters that demanded to be heard.
Well, that always seems to be how I write. I actually, in the past, haven't written every book in order, or even every story. I write things and switch them around. So one of my rules for the series was that I was going to try writing them in order. Just start with the first sentence, the first paragraph, whatever, and just keep going from there. And so, my somewhat reluctant sleuth is a fun voice to listen to, and kind of always starts with something unconventional. And in fact, this book starts, and where this came from, I have no idea. During our second year of university, Priscilla Jane Gill's cat, Micah, died, and she had him taxidermied. We all thought this was gross, and she said he was the truest being she'd met up to that point. She said when she was with Micah, she had been able to tune into a special place, in touch with a purity to which she could only aspire, and that reaching for such purity gave her life a through line of calm. She wanted to recall that clarity every day, and so on. In those days, this sort of explanation made sense. Besides, Priscilla was a folklore major, and they were all a bit like that anyway. So, I find my detective speaking to me and saying that, it gives me a lot of juicy stuff to work with. And I don't have that sort of thing that Dickens had, where I actually think my characters are there, external to me, talking to me. But something happens in the writing mind that isn't really explainable, in terms of having a really direct line to a character's way of talking and of thinking. And when that happens, your job is just to keep typing, just to keep going, keep writing. So these books kind of developed quite organically. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was a little surprised when, billionaires showed up with business cards on smart paper. I was a little surprised when romance ensued. When I realized what was going to have to happen and who was going to have to die, it was heartbreaking. And when the whole taxidermied cat plotline came together, I was actually really delighted, and it gave me a good laugh. But the first book was more the traditional whodunit, body on the riverbank type of, almost Agatha Christie type. And in fact, one of the reviews in Germany said something about, a queer Agatha Christie, or a queer Miss Marple, I mean. But this book was much more the type of psychological thriller builds, and, who's going to do what to whom, and it's all up in the air until that moment when it happens. And then you sort of have to solve for who's the psycho killer, and so that's also a traditional arc. And so it's what I hung on that arc and how much fun I had writing it, I think. And when writers talk about fun, you realize that we're not talking about jollity and happiness and the ballroom at McDonald's and the roller coaster. We're talking about some sort of intricate puzzle making that says, okay, I've set myself this problem. How am I going to solve it? That's the fun. So it's like some values of fun, as the saying goes, right? And so writing them in order, of course, I would set the problem and then not know the answer and have to write my way through to the answer. So that was fun.
That's so true. And you're talking about your characters, and I'm thinking, I had one character in the book I've started, and God, I originally was going to kill him off, but nope. he's made this presence, and it's like, nope, I guess not. Right? So
yeah. And that's the challenge also of this stricture to write in order, which is I have to live with what I set for myself earlier, and sometimes I set it quite capriciously, like, oh, see what you can do with that, future me. The third book, which I just finished writing, is sitting with the editor right now, waiting to come up on her queue. But that one I had to double back a little bit, and I actually was less satisfied with the process because I really loved this I'm discovering along with the characters kind of process. I think it's good, but as we know, whether a thing feels good to write doesn't determine in any way, shape, or form what it turns out like.
Yeah. So you've kind of led into my next question, and that was, what are you working on now? So you said book 3's with the editor?
Yeah, 3's with the editor. I'm supposed to be working on a couple of nonfiction things, and recently short stories have been kind of occurring to me at the edge again. I write short stories fairly seldom, but right at the moment it's like life is short story sized. It's not novel sized, and I haven't quite decided if my nameless sleuth has another story to tell.
Okay. Yeah. No, I understand that. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Candas. Thank you for stopping by Sisters in Crime, Canada West, Meet the Author. I wanted to ask you a lot more as you're talking there. I hope you've enjoyed this, and have a good afternoon. Oh, good. And have a good afternoon.
And thank you for asking me. And these, it's fun to have these small visits, and I hope we get to do some of them more often.
Yes, definitely. Okay, Candace. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.